This afternoon, we bring a topic to you titled Understanding and Rewarding the Process, an extension of the ideology of success as well as realities in dream. The first thing we will be discussing in this part is to discuss about expectation in the process. What do we mean by that? We'll be talking about things you should expect when you decide to undergo certain process. And the first is this. One of it is this fear. Over time, I discovered that the more we go deeper in an action, the more we go deeper in an event, I discovered that the more fear begins to step in. We become so afraid, we become so worried of the unknown. And like someone said, or is widely said, that the best way to deal with fear is not running away from fear, but to face it. Because inaction is what breeds fear. And when you decide to run away from an action because you are afraid, the end product is anger and frustration. Over time, you will discover that we become so angry with ourselves for some unfulfilled actions we fail to take up. So when fear comes, instead of running away from it, you have to face it. Because nobody ever told you that in the process is an inch free. So expect fear, but deal with it. Secondly, another thing you should expect in the process is pain and distress. Over time, I discovered that when we take up a new cause or a new challenge, the body, the spirit, the mind is being overstretched, is being stretched. And because of that, this breeds pain and distress. Because of the uncertainty in the process, the body begins to, and the mind begins to become weak. It begins to experience fatigue. So when you are going through a process or you're trying to get a goal fulfilled, in the process, expect weakness and fatigue. Fourthly, there's always a clash between your goal and addiction. What do I mean by this? What you want to do and what your body wants to do, there will always be a disagreement. There's always a struggle. There's always a collision between I want to do this and my body wants this. My mind wants this, but I feel like doing this. So expect some clashes between your goal and addiction. Let's look at reasons for the process. Why we need to appreciate the process. The first reason for the process is this. The process is a period of development. What do I mean by that? In the process, you gain skills, you annex knowledge, you annex experience. It is in the process you're able to identify your weakness and your strengths. The process reveals to you where you can fit in and how well you can fit in. Basically, the process reveals to us the cost of getting things done. It is in the process you are able to know what you have to let go. That is the opportunity cost to get something done. So the process is a period of investment and sacrifice. And like it is usually said, that if the value of a thing is not known, then abuse is inevitable. But once you know what it took you or what it takes to get an aspiration, a goal fulfilled, then you'll be able to guide and cherish the value behind it at the end. Thirdly, the process is a period of trial and error, as well as test for compatibility. Alright. Fourthly, in the process, it is in the process you are able to adjust for a better outcome. What do I mean by that? Having done some trials and error during the process, then you have been brought to perfection. You now know what to do, how to do, where to do, and in what proportion and at what time it should be done. So the process yields a better outcome as well as perfection. The reason why you should appreciate the process is because the process helps you to harness the strengths, the resources required when the success is attained to maintain the success. You've been through thicks and thin, you've been through hard times, you've been able to identify your weaknesses and your strengths, the things you need to do and how to do it. So the process is a period of annexing resources to maintain that success when the success actually finally comes. Having examined the expectation in process as well as the reason for the appreciation of the process, we take it further by looking at the criteria for staying in the process. And the first is this: to stay in the process, you need to love and trust the process. This is a very important aspect of attaining any desired goal or aspiration. You need to love what you do. You have to draw up strength from within and appreciate and keep doing it. Even when it's getting tough, even when you don't see reasons to keep doing it, you have to keep going. There's dignity and pride in process. That is why you need to love it. Let's take for instance, we all know a bamboo tree. That it takes so many years for a bamboo tree to be nurtured before it becomes so grown to the point that it becomes useful in building another aspect of life. If the sower, if the planter of a bamboo tree has not decided to water and go through the tedious and the long process required for that bamboo to become a bamboo, possibly there wouldn't have been a bamboo existing. So you have to love it. You have to love and pray. In life, I realized that there are two things you should bear in mind. There are certain things that you can change, that you have power and you have control, that you are given the ability and the resources to change. And on the other part, there are certain things that you just need to live with. You just cannot adjust them. You can't change them. You can't permutate them. Rather, can you adjust or make a patch of it? And that leads me to my third point. In staying in the process, you need to accept that there are certain things that you cannot change. In the process, you need to accept that pain is naturally built for man to experience when the soul is being outstretched or overstretched. So trying to change or trying to avoid staying in pain or trying to avoid living or experiencing pain during the process is an unrealistic belief. So you need to accept that you can't change certain things and certain phenomena are meant to be during the process. The price and not the journey. If practically you will see that if a man decides to embark on a journey, if you are looking at the distance you are going to cover, you might end up not going for that journey. So that is one of the things you need to do. You need to look at the reasons why you decided to take on the action. Even though it's the time it might take so much time for you to get that action done. It might take so much time for you to get that desire done. But you need to just keep focusing on the dreams. You need to focus on the desires. You need to love the process. You need to stick to the process rather than the journey. Because looking at the journey, it will appear far. Even what you see will make it appear far. Even what you see will make it appear discouraging. But at that point, you just need to focus on the outcome rather than the journey. Having this at the back of your mind will save you or help you of some stress. You need to accept that there's a limit to what can be adjusted in life. Not everything is adjustable, especially in the process or in the course of attaining an aspiration. Certain things are just beyond human control. Certain things are just beyond human analysis. And that is where the nature is in play. Alright, fourthly, you also need to accept, to recognize those parts of life in the process that can be changed. Remember initially I said there are certain things that can't be changed in life. Similarly, just as there are certain things that can't be changed in life, we also have certain things that are adjustable to human. Human has been given the capacity by nature to adjust. So you need to identify that are for attaining any dreams. Getting this right will help or save you from stress or unnecessary headache. So you need to accept that some are stable, while some aspects are unadjustable. The two initially explained points of realizing that certain things are adjustable in the process and certain things are just acceptable or are just to be accepted in the process. If we look at a baby trying to grow up, for instance, it is a normal thing for a baby while trying to walk to rise and fall. And even before that, a baby needs to start from the process of crawling. Then after crawling, it goes further, or he or she goes further into staggering or trying to stand to walk. And if the baby is able to even stand, make the step or take the step to stand to walk. Similarly, a baby has to go through the process of staggering while walking before it becomes firm as he or she grows up. So that is a simple scenario illustrating that certain things are just meant to be. There are certain processes, or there are certain aspects in the process that cannot be adjusted. You just have to go through them. You just have to go through that pain. You just have to go through that sleepless night. You just have to go through that headache. You just have to go through the stress. You just have to go through the stretching. So that is an aspect that says you need to accept that certain parts of the process are to be accepted. Can be adjusted is, take for instance sleeping. Of course, and survive, but still take it. But it's the time we choose to sleep. We can adjust when we sleep and when we go. That is an aspect of life that can be adjusted by human. Similarly, in the aspirations and attainment of some goals and aspirations, like I said, there are certain parts that are adjustable. So identify that part that you need to adjust. Identify that part that you have in your own wish to control. Another criteria of staying in the process is consistency and commitment. Commitment is doing things not only when it is convenient or easy to be done. It's all about doing things even in distress, even in pain, even in stress, even in agony, even when you are weak. That is when you do that thing. That is what we call commitment. When you are committed to a thing, it means even when you are not happy doing it, even when it is not convenient to do it, you just need to do it. So you need to remain consistent. You need to pick up yourself and say to yourself, I have to do this. It doesn't necessarily have to be convenient for me. It doesn't necessarily have to be easy for me to do. I just have to do this. Similarly, consistency. One thing about inconsistency is that when you refuse to be consistent, what happens is that the body has to undergo another process of readjustment. What do I mean by this? At the point you become inconsistent, it means if you decide to pick it up at another point, you have to go back from the scratch to get to that point that you refuse to be consistent. So for every inconsistency, it comes with a readjustment. So you need to be consistent, you need to be committed to stay in the process. It's not all about I will do it today. Wow, I'm tired tomorrow, I can't do it. Or let's say I'm tired today, I can't do it tomorrow. Then you are not consistent, you are not committed to that goal. And no goal is attainable with inconsistency and uncommitment. So you need to be committed, you need to be consistent to get anything done. You need to be consistent in the process. It doesn't matter how long it takes, it doesn't matter what it takes, it doesn't matter the time frame for that goal to be attained or for that goal to be fulfilled. You just need to keep your head straight and keep going. You need to keep doing it regardless whether it is easy to be done or not. So in staying in the process, you need to be optimistic and you need to be persistent as well as positivity. What do I mean by being positivity? You need to always believe that the end product or the outcome of the process will turn out fine. Of course, one thing I've discovered over time is this: if you have a goal you're trying to attain and your mind is speaking negativity to you, believe me, the negativity has a way of injecting that mindset into your spirit, and the strength to pursue that thing is taken away from you. No man shows a sign of negativity and remains on top. No man shows a sign of negativity and gets that dream fulfilled. You can't be negative and expect a positive result, because the opposite of positivity is negativity. So having a mindset that is negative and trying to get a positive mindset is an illusion. So you need to always believe. It doesn't matter how it appears, it doesn't matter the situations, it doesn't matter the circumstances, it doesn't matter what you see or how you see that thing, it doesn't matter even if the resources are not there, it doesn't matter who believes in what you are doing, it doesn't matter who mocks the process or who mocks the commitment and the time you've decided to add to it. You just need to keep pushing, you just need to keep going, you just need to keep believing. You need to be optimistic, avoid pessimistic, avoid margin of mashing things that you see. because naturally human beings are moved by sight. But for a man that needs to get a goal attained, that needs to get a goal fulfilled, you need to be positive. You need to be optimistic. Always believe I can do it. In fact, you need to have seen the result of that thing even in the process to be positive. So you can't always have a mindset of this thing won't work out and expect a better result. Like they say, you can't always do things the way it has always been done and expect a different result. So you can't have a mindset of it's not possible and receive positivity. So stay positive, stay optimistic. Always remember that fear will come your way in the process. Always remember that pain, agony will come your way. Weakness, fatigue will set in. Appreciate the process. Appreciate and reward the process. Put into consideration the criteria needed in staying in the process. Be committed, be consistent. Accept that there are certain parts of the process that you can change. Accept that there are certain parts of the process that you can't change. Love the process, trust the process, and at the end of it all, you will see that that goal you have been trying to get will come to reality.